Marketing has always been the backbone of every successful business. This is how brands are positioned in such a way that they command great value. However, it has had its own barriers arising as a result of geographical and regional limitations as well as outrageous costs. It was a game well played by the big names in many industries, leaving small businesses in the trenches. With this notwithstanding, the world of business had to cope with it as it had been. In the 20th century, marketing took a swift turn, changing almost everything we knew. Distance was not a problem anymore, and the power of reaching many people was no more a centralized system controlled by newspaper agencies and mega television stations. Everyone in their own small way has the ability to make his or her product or service known. The future of marketing was set, and the world awaited how it will unravel. So how was this going to come into fruition? The only explanation was that on January 1st, 1983, the internet was born. This is one single innovation that has caused an unimaginable change to how we see things, where we see them, and how we interact with them. Therefore, in this video, we will be looking at how the internet has changed marketing forever. This is Bernard, and you are watching African Dream Motivation. Without wasting much time, let's begin. Marketing has been in existence for a very long time. It is a medium businesses employ to communicate their products or services to potential customers for them to make an informed decision. According to Oxford Languages, marketing is the action or business of promoting and selling products or services, including market research and advertising. Before the 21st century, the way businesses went about marketing was totally different. It was at this time that magazines were highly efficient for people to get information. Magazine publishers were on the rise, especially from the 19th century getting into the 20th century. The demand was so huge, and it was a very lucrative business. So the more eyeballs these magazines got, the more opportunities it created for companies to have their advertisements in there. Even though it was costly, at least it gave so much results. In 1887, the Coca-Cola Company invented the first coupon, which offered a free sample of their year-old drink, which was initially sold for 5 cents. As the years rolled by, coupons became a big part of the advertisement plan of many companies. It was a great tool to create brand awareness. And since mailing systems were working, mail advertisements helped these coupons to reach most parts of countries with good mailing setups. These coupons were redeemable at the company's premises or selected branches available. It was a great marketing tool. Billboards and printed promotion materials were also efficient in reaching huge audiences. In the early 20th century, radio and television ads joined the marketing space after philo-tailor Frank Worth successfully demonstrated electronic television in San Francisco in 1927. It was a next level thing, with companies leveraging television's wide coverages to put their ads in there. While these platforms were booming, a communication system that later became a transformational innovation was under development. The evolution of the internet. The internet has been a project which started before the mid-20th century. The computers available were mostly mainframe and was bigger in size than what we have today. It also didn't have a universal communication system. Therefore, transferring information from one place to the other or from one computer to the other was very difficult. Aside from this, the United States was hit by a nuclear weapon from the Soviet Union during the Cold War, Therefore, disseminating information was problematic. This led to the formation of the Advanced Research Project Agency Network, which gradually evolved into what we call the Internet today. This establishment was purposely for information sharing and transfers. Even though these protocols were successful, there was nothing like a standard way of communication between computers. Therefore, the Advanced Research Project Agency Network changed the networking protocol to the Internet Protocol Suite standard on 1st January 1983. This officially marks the birth of the Internet. In the late 1980s, a British engineer by the name Tim Berners Lee, who was working as an independent contractor at the European Organization for Nuclear Research, CERN, from June to December 1980, proposed a project based on the concept of hypertext to facilitate sharing and updating information among researchers. He even built a prototype system and named it Enquire. In 1984, he returned to CERN and continued this project. 5 years later, CERN became the largest internet node in Europe, and right there, Tim Berners Lee saw an opportunity to join hypertext to the internet, and this created the World Wide Web. Gradually, he improved upon his invention and created the first web browser. This was the gateway to a whole new world. The internet, a communication tool, was on the verge of becoming something that would change the world forever. Around the same time, Steve Jobs was working on his famous Macintosh, which became an international sensation.
You've just seen some pictures of Macintosh. Now I'd like to show you Macintosh in person. All of the images you are about to see on the large screen will be generated by what's in that bag. Now we've done a lot of talking about Macintosh recently, but today, for the first time ever, I'd like to let Macintosh speak for itself.
Hello, I am Macintosh. It sure is great to get out of that bag.
Steve had an idea of making computers useful to the extent that it could even be used in the home. This was a dream many people considered outrageous, but tech genius like Bill Gates knew it was possible. Therefore, when Macintosh was released, Microsoft was one of the biggest companies to show interest in the product. The idea of personal computer was key to the success of the internet. After its invention, people could access the internet on their personal computers, and that showed greater potential. A new era was unraveling, with many companies and individuals seeing the reality of the internet revolution. These personal computers allowed people to store data, play games, transfer information, and also businesses were able to track their financial reports on them. Very soon, the personal computer and internet were about to take another turn. In August 1994, the very first legitimate online transaction was recorded. A man by name Dan Cohn created a website called NetMarket and sold a CD of Sting's 10 Summoner's Tale to a friend in Philadelphia for an amount of $12.48. This was a sign that was about to change the world of business forever. The foundation of internet marketing. The race to explore the internet had begun. The dot-com bubble came into fruition, and so many websites, even the worthless ones, were commanding millions of dollars in investment. It was clear that the internet was the future, and no one wanted to be left out. So many startups came into the scene, and business was booming. A lot of the traditional companies that were already creating so much value began joining the race. Notable among them was Dell. In 1996, Dell started selling computers over the web, and the company reported to be making about $1 million in sales every single day. This was how successful the internet became within the shortest possible time. The last decade of the 20th century saw so many companies cracking their brains to come up with something significant on the internet space. One internet business model which has greatly impacted today's marketing is search engines. In the early 1990s, the internet usage was growing at a faster pace with independent websites created every now and then. There was so much information on the internet, with millions of websites flooding the space. Therefore, finding information became a problem. It was a whole messy and crowded space. So if you really don't know the specific web address, you will find yourself in a very frustrating situation. Fortunately, some great minds found a solution, and then search engines were born. The main goal of search engines was to crawl hundreds of billion pages of websites on the internet and integrate them in such a way that anybody anywhere can search for them by entering certain keywords, making it easier than before. It was more like you guess what you want and the site displays some possible outcomes for you. On 10 September 1990, the first search engine was released. It was created for journalists who needed internet searches to complete their works. The name was Archie. As the years went by, new search engines were created including Alta Vista, Webcrawler, Lycos, Excite, Yahoo, Dogpile, JumpStation, GoTo.com, and many more. In 1998, Google was founded and it began growing to where it is today. While these search engines grew, advertising on the internet became a viable way to reach more people, and in 1997, after GoTo.com was established, it became one of the earliest search engines to offer pay-per-click ads to clients, which helped show advertisements of companies at the top of searches. As many creative minds were coming up with ideas, a man called Andrew Wenrick founded the very first social media website in 1997. He named it 6degrees.com. It was based on the web of contact model of social networking. As time went by, others examined Andrew's site to develop social media companies based on his model. Friendster, MySpace, LinkedIn, Zinc, and Facebook arrived and took social media to the next level by introducing social media marketing, which we will talk about later in this video. As the internet underwent a couple of advancements, two major industries contributed greatly to the mind-blowing evolution of the internet and marketing. They are the personal computer industry, which we have already talked about, and the smartphone industry, which later became the speedboat of marketing. Even though smartphones didn't come into the marketing scene in the 1990s, their production began earlier than the 21st century. This was a future technology being developed before its time. In 1992, IBM announced the first smartphone, which later became available in 1994. It was called the Simon Personal Communicator, SPC. Surprisingly, it included many features which are similar to what modern smartphones have today, and it was also a screen touch. At the time of its production, it had little or no influence on marketing. The era was for personal computers, which were the driving force behind many businesses at the time. From the mid-1990s, it's popularly referred to as the dot-com bubble. It introduced the internet to the world in a rather loud voice. Many people jumped on the opportunity and started a whole lot of internet businesses. By the year 2002, the dot-com bubble burst, and the industry saw a huge economic recession. Many startups didn't survive the fall, and billions of investment went down the drain. During the crash, many online shopping companies like Pets.com and Boo.com collapsed, and communication companies such as Global Crossing collapsed. Many e-commerce companies also couldn't stand the pressure, with only a few surviving, including Amazon, which lost so much of its market capitalization. After this untimely business catastrophe, new companies emerged, providing high quality and valuable services. Small search engines and web companies were either left behind or couldn't compete anymore. With this notwithstanding, A few of them were able to withstand the change the internet had gone through. Talking about changes, the World Wide Web had evolved ever since Tim Berners Lee introduced it. Web 1.0 refers to the internet from 1991 to 2004. During these periods, most websites were static web pages and greater number of users were consumers, not producers of content. Getting to 2004, the idea of the web as a platform ordinary people can leverage became popular. This idea popped up because many emerging social media and networking services, blogs and other websites were built in such a way that users were able to create content and also upload it. This made the static and informative style of website unsuitable. Therefore, Web 2.0 came to the rescue. This period began from 2004 to date. The term Web 3.0 gained popularity in 2021, which was described as semantic web. This signals that the evolution of the internet is not yet done. There is still more ahead. The year was 2003, and the world was up for another big surprise. On the campus of Harvard, a student in his sophomore year created something he called Face Mash. This was an online service for students to interact with their colleagues. Unfortunately, this promising service was discontinued because the primary developer violated the university's policy in acquiring resources for the service. After the closure, the developer, Mark Zuckerberg, realized that 450 people loved their service. This prompted him to register a new web address. This time, he chose Facebook in January 2004. Together with fellow students, Severin, Moscovitz, and Hughes, they created a new social media called Facebook. By June, the service had more than 250,000 students from 34 schools signed up. Corporations like MasterCard started paying to place ads on the site, and within the space of 4 years, Facebook bypassed the biggest social media platform at the time, MySpace, and a great future awaited. The social media space began growing with the likes of Twitter, established on June 15, 2006. Instagram on October 6, 2010, and Snapchat on September 16, 2011. While these text and image-dominated social media platforms were making waves on the internet, video sharing platforms such as YouTube grew exponentially, with TikTok also joining in a rather unique way. This has influenced most of the other text and image social media platforms to consider adding videos. The growth of the internet caused a lot of changes in our world, including how advertisements were done. For any effective marketing plan to be drawn, the marketer needs to know a combination of factors that can be controlled to influence consumers to purchase the product. This is what is referred to as marketing mix. The world of marketing began getting so many advances with the traditional 4 P's of marketing, which are product, price, place, and promotion, being seriously criticized. Many of the critics were due to the environmental and technological changes that have been seen as the 20th century was coming to an end. The 4 P's of marketing mix basically focus on an inside-out approach. Environmental changes and technological advancements, such as the internet, provided a means to tailor marketing in such a way that could boost results and encourage customer experience. Therefore, the absence of these new developments in marketing made the 4 P's somewhat behind time. In 1990, Bob Lutterborn wrote an article in Advertising Age saying the 4 P's were dead and today's marketing needed to address the real issues. As the years went by, a rather modern marketing mix has been deemed the ideal replacement for the 4 P's. This is called the 4 C's, and it represents consumer, cost, convenience, and communication. The 4 C's takes into account digital marketing, causing a huge change to what was traditionally pursued in the marketing field. And moreover, This is an outside-in approach, taking into consideration environmental and technological factors before a marketing strategy is laid out. The rise of digital marketing. Before the internet, the advertisement that was run showed many limitations. We could talk about the use of mail and the postal system. Direct selling and word-of-mouth marketing were also very useful. Television and radio advertisement also became the game changer in the 20th century, but the invention of the internet and its evolution has presented the world of marketing with more effective and efficient marketing ever experienced. With an increase in websites and blogs, a marketing tool that gained a lot of popularity was native advertising. This is a natural flow of advertisement. Websites and blogs are paid to display ads in relation to the subject matter they've written about. For instance, let's assume you are reading an article and it's about going to the hospital regularly. And as you scroll down, you see an advertisement of a hospital giving a discount for checkups. It appears so natural that you don't really get bothered about seeing them because they are in context. This is how native advertisements work. Secondly, there are also display ads. These types of ads are placed on websites and blogs in designated places. Sometimes, it could be a horizontal banner on the side or a vertical banner at the top or at the bottom of the page. It is also very result-oriented because of its catchy images and videos. It is sometimes referred to as banner advertisement. Search engine marketing. Today, search engines have become the gateway to the internet. It is mostly the first experience people have when they want to browse online. Therefore, the first page of every search result is key to customer and business satisfaction. Also, many companies pay huge sums of money just to be on the first page of specific keywords related to their businesses. A lot of website creators and managers go organic and optimize their web pages to appear on the top of searches. This is so effective considering the fact that a search engine like Google gets about 5.6 billion searches per day, which is equivalent to 228 million searches per hour, and 3.8 million searches per minute, and 63,000 searches per second. If people are searching for a keyword so often, and your page happens to be the very page on top, it is very likely that your page will get so many visits, and if it is a product you are selling, you could be making so much money from that. Search engine marketing is one of the biggest forms of advertisement in the 21st century. Social media marketing. Social media has become one of the greatest advertisement tools of this era. It is one of the most successful ways of reaching people due to its ability to offer highly targeted ads. Marketing is always effective when there is enough audience to present a product or service to. Modern day social media has amassed so many subscribers, making it rather convenient to showcase your business or brand on them. For example, Facebook alone has over 2.9 billion users. This is a population more than any single country has. In fact, it is more than the total population of the continent of Africa and Europe combined. The most important aspect of social media marketing is that it is easy to reach out only to people who are one way or the other interested in your product. This is indeed very effective. Video marketing. Marketing with text and images is cool, but what if you can actually show your potential customer real-life events of maybe how the physical product is used? The use of videos in marketing is a plus. In marketing, potential customers sometimes need to see beyond the image or text before making any positive conclusion, especially if the product is a high-ticket product. The rise of the internet and social media influenced the creation of many video sharing platforms. Even though it took quite a long time for the video industry to be sustained, It has even become more effective than many text and image sharing platforms. For instance, YouTube has grown to become one of the strongest video sharing platforms in the world. According to Statistica, YouTube alone has an active subscriber base of 2.291 billion, coming second to only Facebook. Other video sharing platforms like TikTok has also grown into a multi-million subscriber base within a short time. This success has made video sharing platforms a great place to market your business. Email and SMS marketing. This has been a long-term marketing strategy that creates a highly cost-effective marketing plan. With email marketing, businesses and brands focus on building their email list and entreating customers to subscribe. Subscriptions could be gained through paid ads or organic visits to the website. But after the email lists are ready, further remarketing through emails becomes a zero-cost approach or comes with the least possible cost. It is very helpful, especially when marketers want to embark on a retargeting campaign. It also becomes a great tool in launching a new product. SMS marketing, on the other hand, is an old new system. Around 2002, it was hardly used in many developed countries, but gradually, its usage has dwindled, with email marketing rising above it. Even though it is not the preferred choice for many companies, it still plays a vital role in marketing for some organizations. Therefore, these tools serve as an important tool to help improve customer retention and loyalty. Last but not the least, let's look at mobile advertisements. Even though the first smartphone was made by IBM in 1992, called the IBM Simon, mobile advertisement came into fruition after a decade in the 21st century. From the very beginning of the 21st century, personal computers ruled the game. Because of this, many of the marketing was done targeting people using personal computers, since that was the major way people accessed the internet. While the internet grew exponentially, tech companies were on the race to develop an ultra-modern smartphone that will be able to accommodate the advancement of the information communication technology. On 9th January 2007, the Apple company, which was a key player in the personal computer evolution, announced their first smartphone, the iPhone.
iPod, a phone, and an internet communicator. An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? These are not three separate devices. This is one device. And we are calling it iPhone. Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone.
It was officially released in the United States on 29 June 2007. The mobile phone industry was racing to bring out products to compete and win. Therefore, on 27 April 2009, Samsung also released their first Android-powered smartphone, which was the Samsung GT17500 Galaxy, which would later become the long-running Galaxy series.
Thank you for joining us this evening for what is arguably the biggest and most exciting night in the history of Samsung Mobile here in the United States.
Many other companies joined by presenting to the market amazing products. These phones were highly compatible with social media, search engines, and many internet-based applications. Right away, another marketing space was created. Mobile advertisements became so huge, outcompeting desktop advertisement in several areas. One thing that made mobile advertisement very effective was that most people spend a lot of time on their mobile phones than on their laptops. Therefore, advertising on a phone proved to have a great chance of reaching more people within the shortest possible time. The power of the internet in marketing. In the past, it was nearly impossible to reach huge potential customers within the shortest possible time, especially for a small business. And even with bigger businesses, the cost involved was overwhelming. With today's marketing on the internet, it is easier to even cross borders to market your brand. The arrival of the internet has been an ideal solution for local businesses to go international. For instance, the company Alibaba was established in 1999 by Jack Ma in China. By analyzing the company's advertising strategies, you will realize that they are able to reach potential customers all over the world within the shortest possible time. But if it was in the 1900s, it would have been very difficult for the ordinary African or American to even hear about the company. Digital marketing has made it possible for individuals and small businesses to be able to compete for the exposure on the internet with bigger companies. This would have never been possible in the past. Today, you can stay in your house and market your product to millions of people without necessarily having a physical store waiting for people to walk in and ask for prices. The internet allows you to take your business to them without moving an inch. Targeting and retargeting. One advantage of internet marketing is the ability to target the right audience. Even with your target audience, the internet gives you a step further, which allows you to narrow it down the more. With social media advertisements, most of these platforms already have data about their users. This acts as a great tool to help marketers know the number of people who are interested in their product, their age range, and other demographics. It is something that makes internet marketing very significant. For instance, if I sell men's products, I will be able to target men with a specific interest, specific age, and specific location. Unlike traditional marketing like television advertisements, internet marketing tailors your advertisement piece to the most relevant audience, thereby increasing your chances of getting a lot of sales and exposure. Taking it to another level, the internet has provided a space for retargeting, which I would say is the greatest tool marketers have to influence customer retention and customer loyalty. Let's assume you have a bookshop by the roadside with a very big billboard displaying your books. A potential customer sees your billboard, but even though he wanted to buy a book, he didn't have money on him. If he leaves, he might forget to even make the purchase later, or might get it at any other bookshop. You might lose this customer because most traditional marketing ends at displaying the initial ad to the potential customers. But internet marketing goes the extra mile. A good marketing system factors in retargeting, and it is so effective that it is able to identify potential customers who saw an ad and visited the website but couldn't make a purchase. These data help marketers to reach out strategically to lost customers to try to close the deal. Let's look at a few of these systems in digital marketing. The first is something called cookies. Cookies act as a tracking system on websites. It is able to identify where people are visiting the site from using their IP address and some other information, which will be very vital for the company's retargeting strategies. Cookies are purposely to make your online experience easy. It saves browsing data, which helps sites to keep visitors signed in. It also helps sites to remember visitors' preferences to serve them with locally relevant content. Also, for an advanced marketing strategy, marketers insert codes into the original code of websites, which are mostly from big marketing platforms like Facebook, Google, and the others. What do these tracking codes do? These codes monitor the activities of visitors on the page purposely for retargeting. For instance, you see an ad and clicks on it. It then takes you to a sales page for you to finish your purchase. But for one reason or the other, you were not able to complete the transaction. The next day, you get on the internet or maybe open an app on your phone and the first thing you see is an ad from the website you visited and didn't make any purchase. If you are really in need of the product, you are given another opportunity to make the purchase. This serves as a reminder, generating so much result after the initial marketing. Therefore, digital marketing creates a long-lasting relationship between companies and their potential customers and can easily convert them into their regular customers. Finally, the internet has created an enabling environment for marketing to thrive. These pieces coming together has made it easier than ever to close a deal. Today, we have so many online payment systems available, giving businesses the ability to receive payments from their customers online, and then delivery systems like DHL, apps, and the others are also available to make deliveries locally and even internationally. In a marketing sense, it shortens a buyer's decision-making process, making it faster and easier for deals to be closed. The more a customer delays in making a purchase decision, the greater likelihood he or she will not proceed to close the deal. Let's assume you stay 1,000 miles away and you have a product you want to sell to me, but there are no delivery services and no payment systems available. Even though I would love to buy the product from you, these missing variables will definitely interrupt my willingness to get your product. This is how the internet has taken marketing to a whole new level, shortening the buyer decision-making process. The internet is not a perfect system. It has its pros and cons. But in general, it has really changed marketing forever. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell so that you don't miss any new video we upload. Until we meet next time, have a nice day.